My guest today, Zach Grace. Zach, welcome to the studio here. It's good to see you. The reason you're here is, let's just get this right out in the open. I'm sure there's a lot of folks who probably don't know, but I'm also sure that there are many folks know that you are now you have signed with the Oregon Ducks. You are going to play football at the University of Oregon. How's that feel?
It feels amazing. It's a dream opportunity, and I'm really excited to be there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. One of the things that I've noticed as we were watching you play football, and of course I've seen the success that you and the rest of the track team had here at Kearney, is that you're the kind of athlete that I think, particularly in football, that teams have to prepare for. You're one of those guys that coaches game plan for. They say number 14 is a guy we need to watch. You still have to train. Tell me how you have worked so hard to get where you are, and some of the things that you did and the dedication that you've had to your training and so forth.
I think a lot of it is because of my parents and my coaches helping me out. And then, I've stayed really consistent with just, going to the gym, working out. And there's a lot of other things I could be doing. There's a lot of other things that other kids are doing, like, partying, whatever. And I just stayed away from that. There's a lot of things that I had to, give up just to, stay consistent and keep my goals in mind.
What did Coach Minnick bring as far as you were concerned as a player? What did he bring to the table, and how did you guys work together to not just make you individually better, but how did he and you help make the rest of the team better this year?
I think Coach Minnick has his creativity, and he's not closed-minded about anything. With the ham package, that was very creative, and we hadn't used anything like that in the past, and it's just kind of use what you have, use the athletes that you have to, win games. I think that's a great thing about Coach Minnick.
As you moved along, and obviously you had some other offers, you had other Division I offers, you finally settled on the University of Central Missouri. Mm-hmm. And that looked like it was signed, sealed, and a done deal, and you were locked in.
Yeah.
Take me through the chronology, but let's talk about how you got to the University of Central Missouri first.
Okay, UCM, I was in a position where, I had 5 or 6 other D1 offers. They were mostly FCS schools, and I was kind of put in a position where they had offered me, but I waited a little bit too long, and they ended up saying you can come as a walk-on because our spots are taken. Oh. So I was kind of all right, I think UCM is probably the best option here.
I see.
So that's kind of how that went.
Right, and there was a connection with Greg Jones, the former head coach of the Kearney Bulldogs. Tell me about how you worked through that connection with Coach Jones.
When I found out he was going there, I was like, oh yeah, I know Coach Jones. I would love to play for him, and he's the best coach I never had. I've seen him with all these other teams, and I want to be a part of being coached by him, So.
Right, but there was a text message that came to you one day that came from Coach Minnick. Mm-hmm. Let's start there, and let's continue the chronology. Tell me about how that started happening, how the wheels started turning.
Yeah, school was over for me. All the seniors were out of school, and I'm just kind of hanging out at home one day, and I get a text from Coach Minnick asking about if I had signed NIL at UCM. I was like, no, to my knowledge, I haven't signed anything with NIL. And I get a call from my dad asking if I had talked to Coach Minnick. He was like, I was kind of like, no, I haven't talked to Coach Minnick. And he's like, my dad was like, well, you might have a late offer. I was like, a late offer from who? And he goes, Oregon. I was like, Oregon? Well, that's pretty exciting. That's my dream school. So I gave Coach Minnick a call, and he told me that, you know, there's a lot of steps to this, so don't get too excited. It's not official yet. So that's kind of how that happened.
Because you were already committed, there was a decommitment process
Right.
with the University of Central Missouri. How's that work?
I wasn't allowed to, like, when I got to Oregon, that was the first time I had talked to any of the coaches there. Like, I wasn't allowed to talk to anyone. I just kind of had to sit and wait. It was really...
Until you had decommitted.
Yeah.
Right. How did Coach Jones respond to this whole thing as it was unfolding?
He was really understanding about it, and I gave him a call, and he was really just, you know, like, I'm happy for you, and you're gonna have the time of your life up there, and I know a lot of the coaches up there, and you're gonna have a great time. He was really understanding about it.
What was the next step? When did you get to say and go to the University of Oregon and step foot on the campus and say, I'm here?
I had to get accepted at Oregon first, so that was another thing about waiting.
Just at the university itself, right?
Yeah. I started getting texts from coaches there and getting things rolling.
So it was not a big secret at Oregon that they were recruiting you, and they were saying not just recruiting, but it was an offer. Mm-hmm. What were some of your thoughts when you first got to the campus? Obviously you got to meet some of the coaches. Mm-hmm. You've done some workouts, presumably, then with the team, I assume.
It was about probably 4 days after I got there. We did a big old, like, introduction for all the freshmen, and our first workout was like the next week after I got there.
What are some of the highlight moments that when you first stepped on campus?
Everything that I expected and more about it, because I have seen like all the videos that are made about the Oregon facilities, and just like being there, it's like, wow, I'm really here.
What are some of your goals and objectives? How do you see things working out for you? Do you see yourself getting on the field as a freshman? How do you think that's going to play out?
I'm going to do my very best, you know, to get on the field. I'm not sure how realistic that is, being a freshman and still learning the playbook. That's definitely one of my goals for this, like, for these next few weeks, just getting the playbook down and just before the season starts.
What has that transition been like to go to a somewhat different language and a somewhat different style of play between Kearney and the University of Oregon?
Yeah, it's just way more fast-paced and just a lot thrown at you, just really quick. Meetings are short, but the amount of stuff in the meetings is like, wow, I've never seen this stuff before, but I'm trying to get used to it.
Yeah. Thank you, and best of luck to you. Thank you so much for being with us here today. It's just great to see you. For KPGZ Sports and the Bulldog Radio Network, I'm Mike Davis.